I hope everyone's settling in. And yeah, we're very excited to have this session today. Thank you for joining. We're super glad to be sharing some examples and new methods of how you can get happier customers with our new addition to the platform, announcements and the change log. So I'm Ashley, I'm from the growth team, and today I have Shannon with me, Shannon, our CEO,
Hi, everybody.
and great. And I think without further ado, let's just get into what we'll be doing today. So on the agenda, it's very simple. We'll want to share a bit around why we build announcements, how that adds value to your product development lifecycle, and then show you 3 use cases, 3 creative methods on how you can use announcements to engage with your customers, to boost their adoption, and also to share all of the hard work that you've been doing, and then that they really see it, they're aware of it, and they feel delighted about it.
Yeah, especially
Well,
your boss. A
yeah,
great way. Show your
we
boss everything that you did in the year. Ta-da! You're welcome.
exactly, especially if you have an internal facing product, then showing your coworkers what you've been working on is super important, and also that your stakeholders know. Mm, and we will also be sharing a little bit around what will be ahead of us in 2025. So stay tuned for that. And then lastly, we'll have Q&A for you to ask any questions around how to use this, or if you have any questions around user stab in general, feel free to, you can already send the questions in as we go. So don't feel shy to hold back. Then, okay, so the first thing, why did we build this new feature? Shannon, maybe you can tell us a little bit.
Sure. So this was a feature that the team built, and I'm so proud and excited about it. I really love this feature because as a manager, as a leader, this is a tool that I can use to talk about my team. Every good manager talks up their team and makes sure that people know the hard work that they are doing. By the way, makes you look good too. But this is a great recognition tool for internal facing teams that I think that we don't leverage enough. And it's also a really great way for you to talk directly to your customers and start that two-way conversation. UserSnap up to now has been very much about let's give people a means to tell us something. Let's ask them and collect information and use that information. And now you can close the loop with them and you can tell them, hey, remember that feedback that you gave me about that thing that you wanted? By the way, here it is. And I think that that is so powerful as an organization to be able to give back to your community who are listening. By the way, they watch what you do and they see when you say, we had a number of users asking us for this, and bam, we delivered. So closing that loop is really an amazing way of creating a two-way conversation with your customer, ensuring that they can see your initiatives and your response, and that you're being intelligent, and that we allow you to do this in a behavioral driven way. You can set some criteria around when these things happen and how they happen that make it just a little bit smarter than a banner on the top of your screen. And I think that that's a really great way to do it. And we also built this changelog feature that couples it very well. So the announcements are very point in time. You should know this now. But the changelog features are much more about how do we keep things persistent? How do we have a track record of our good work? And this could also include things like bug fixes or other types of announcements that you want to make, and not just features or, hey, look at all we did in 2024. So this is a great way for you to create that loop with your customer, listening and responding in order to really impact them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get into the flexibility of the feature very soon. And it's definitely not limited to when you have a new feature. It's also when you want to give more education. We are very happy to see that a lot of our customers and also the new customers, they are adopting this feature. They are listening to feedback and then closing the loop and sharing what they have delivered so that users really feel the impact.
Yeah, for onboarding, there's some good benefits there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and along with this, you also see a small change in our navigation to help you find the announcements, to help you go through your product development life cycle of collecting feedback and then triage, and then the announcements, and also staying close to your users. Anything else that you want to add here over to you, Shannon?
Um, I think you covered it pretty well. I love the way that our process really brings the user into every stage of their cycle. I think that's really important for product people, but also anyone who's just trying to build something cool. So the founders out there, this is for you too. It teaches you to kind of think about first we listen and understand, then we sort it out and we prioritize, and then we can work on some building some cool things and validating them, listen and prioritize again, and then finally close that feedback loop with announcements. I feel like this new menu organization really helps us think about that really step by step.
Mhm. Yeah, and we also want to lead you from the start to the finish around around how you solve user pain points, around how you discover it with some micro surveys, and then you're maybe testing your hypothesis, your prototype, doing beta tests, collecting those bugs and issues, as well as new feature requests, then delivering the features and value, but on top of that, announcing it in a nice way so that users really see what is the value proposition, how do they use it, and then they adopt it, they experience it. And then they can give you final feedback around how satisfied they are so that you can measure this success, you can monitor their sentiment, and then you know what to do next and continue the development cycle.
Your image says 1,000 words here.
Cool. So then let's get into the juicy part of the demo. The first use case that I want to show you guys is how to use feature announcements to create user adoption. And here we're going to jump into our dashboard. So as you can see, I am in the announcements area where you can easily create an announcement. And one that I have set up here is something like this. For you to be able to, you can put a header, which is over here. You can use that to catch the attention of your users, and then to make a powerful and engaging content. You can add paragraphs, images, including GIFs as well, like this, so that it's really visually allowing people to understand without too many words, or videos as well. You simply need to copy and paste the link of the video, and then they can play from the widget directly. So all of this, and you can have like multiple videos or multiple images if you want to show step-by-step things. A small tip around writing a good announcement. So in the paragraph area, you see that there's rich text editing. You can put headlines. You can also have like bullet points or lists. So having a high readability paragraph is very important. Maybe some of the product managers are not as aware of this, especially if you write, you're used to GitHub release notes. Those are really like just texty and kind of, excuse me, but like boring. Here, you really want to capture and allow your users to see what you want to communicate with them, see the value fast. So you can use these things, use emojis as well, use underline links to help you make this more readable and more engaging.
Yeah, I especially love the GIF integration because
Mm.
I mean, bringing a little fun, bringing a little delight is missing from everywhere in our lives. So if we can add that into something like feature announcements or even like bug releases or fixes, I think that this just makes a difference to the user. Bringing a little bit of joy into their day from something that is mundane is pretty
Mhm.
cool, in my opinion. So glad to see the versatility of this feature in that space.
Yeah. And actually, I just thought of something fun as well. So we tried, like in our own team, we tried also using memes. as the graphic to catch people's attention, to get their eyeballs, but also to make them think, make them smile, you know, around why what is the thing that we want to communicate? What is the value behind this? What is the let's say the point of this thing? So you can use your own images. You can use screenshots. You can also use memes, GIFs that are out there to catch people's attention and just bring a little bit of joy into people's lives.
Yeah, bring your inside jokes would be my advice as well, because like there's nothing better if you're trying to really connect to people than something that is personal. So this is our top tips for how to really smash this feature, really make it amazing, is make it personal, make it fun, make it really talking to them and not hiding your own best practices even, I think is a great way to use this tool.
Mhm. Yeah, and as always, you can change the style, the colors on your widget so that it can be more personalized to your brand and fit your UI. Then also about personalization. So in the targeting area of how you want to show this announcement, you can have it in the changelog, or you can also exclude it from the changelog. You can also promote it as a pop-up. So here with the pop-up, you can set your audience to be by specific email groups. So then you can really just target those that you want to communicate or that this announcement is relevant to. So you can target by email or you can exclude by email. And you can target by user segments as well. So those user segments, depending on like the attributes that you have set up, such as their plan, for example, just the enterprise plan, or just the, let's say, the trial plan, as you maybe want to give them more education content during the stage, then you can do this type of segmentation.
Which I think is so important if you're trying to personalize the contents. Being able
Yeah.
to pick who you want to talk to is critical.
Yes, and this way you can also set different types of content for different people so that everyone is getting more and more educated around your product, but they're getting the specific content that is suitable at their user journey. Also, to even further customize this experience, you can use activation with API event. So these would be the user events that happen, for example, like they click a button or they load a different page or they just finish using, they completed a certain process, a certain flow that is your latest product version update. Then you want to show something to them in this way. You can use API event and then just put in your event. You can even wait a few seconds so that it allows them to absorb what they have experienced, what they have seen, and then pop it up to them. So the user API event or time on page, if you use time on page, then you can use the specific pages to target by the page that they're on, such as like starting with or ending with is a very useful one, such as ending with purchase. So then you can measure or you can tell people around maybe a discount that you're running for Christmas on the page that they're about to check out to be more engaging.
Trying to
So
get all the
these are
retail people
some,
engaged right now is what you're doing, aren't you?
yes, I'm getting some good pop-ups that works for me and I'm buying them, buying the stuff on some sites. And then sometimes I also getting not so nice pop-ups and then I ignore them. So make sure you do it right.
Yeah,
And being able to customize the experience is a big part of that.
please make it behavioral. Please not 5 pop-ups on the same page about different things. Make it about what they're doing. Make it personal to them in that moment. You just did this thing. Here's an information that you need, and always make it about them when you're trying to really bring value to your user by using a tool like this. So often we're tempted to make it about us. What do I need to know? What information do I want to give? And, there's one thing this marketing team has and this growth team has really helped me realize so much with this feature is it's not about you. It's about the user and what did they need in that moment. So always orient towards your audience.
Mhm. Yes, thanks for adding that. And when you can customize it, you can target in this way, then your messaging can also fit the experience so that it's both targeted in content as well as in timing. Speaking about time, so if you are a very busy person and you want to schedule your releases ahead of time, this is the perfect place for you to do that. You can select the date as well as the time. So then on a busy release day where you may have a lot of things to take care of, you can just set this and then be free of it and then just watch the user adoption come in.
Are you saying you should set it and forget it, Ashley?
Set it, forget it, but your users will remind you about it when they use it and they give you some good feedback.
Your product team will remind you, oh my God, people are actually adopting it. Yes, because they saw it.
Exactly. So this is the first part of how you can use these feature announcements to increase user adoption. The second demo that I want to show you is that besides these feature announcements, you can also do other type of content. For example, we have a few templates for you to get inspired. The new feature announcements, but also if you have like a scheduled maintenance time and you want to communicate this to your users so that they can understand and maybe even avoid logging in during this time, or that they're just aware of certain things, you can use these type of images, messages. You can even exclude the images and just have a text maybe in like heading 1 so that they see it very clearly. And what we have used recently is a webinar invitation. So if you want to provide more education content, videos, or like events that you want to invite your users to and make them aware of, you can also do that with announcements. A very fun one that we are, so a few examples here, but a very fun one that we are designing right now for ourselves is an end of year summary. And we want to show a pop-up, not about our new features, but around all the features, the highlights that we have delivered this year. And then just to remind people about it in case they have missed it. So that is another example and some other use cases that I think is always very helpful, especially at this time of the year, to share summaries and maybe you can even target to your boss, send a specific one just to your boss, to the management team around the progress and the advancements that your team has made. So yeah, here I mainly wanted to show you guys that we have some templates ready for you to use. And then the third use case of the changelog and connection to the feedback menu, as well as an animated badge to get more awareness and a little bit of fun and quirk into being aware of the new things. So here in the changelog, you have a few options. So the changelog itself is like a scrollable widget that goes through all of the changes, all of the announcements that you have made that you have chosen to publish on the changelog. You can also deactivate it from the changelog or only show those announcements to the changelog and no pop-ups. And you can activate it with the feedback menu, which is probably you already have that embedded on your application and users already are using that to give you feedback. And now they will have an additional option to see the changelog. So let's say this is your regular feedback widget and button. So when you open it up, users will be able to like submit an issue if they want, or you have linked it to some other websites of your help center. Then those are all here, they're all streamlined in one place. And now if you have a new announcement in your changelog, there will be an animated badge. So you can just enable it over here. For the icon of the changelog, you can select different things so that it best fits the style that you want. And with this animated badge, it's a very subtle but eye-catching and nice approach to allow your users to know, hey, there's something new over there. And then they can open it up, see that, okay, it's around the changelog. There's something new into the changelog. Then open up the changelog and then read for themselves at their availability, because maybe they don't want to read it immediately after they log into your app. They want to read it before they end their session. Then that is all up to them, and you make them feel more comfortable.
Yeah, I like that it just very subtly bounces. It's not in your face.
Exactly.
Like something I remember back in the day. Here's an anti-pattern of how not to do this. I remember like applications when they had like a notification, the application used to bounce in the bottom of your, like if you're an Apple user, in the bottom of your screen. And I always, that drove me nuts because it was such an aggressive notification. And I feel like ours is trying to be like that just medium, like we want you to notice it, but we don't want it to be so noticeable that it actually disrupts your experience.
Yes. So this way, and you can also choose the colors if you want a more bright color to let it be more eye-catching, or if you want to be even more subtle and then choose a let's say a darker color. This is up to how you want to design your user experience in your application. And further customization can be done. So this is, I think, the most simple way. And you can start with this immediately with connecting the changelog to the feedback menu. You can have your own custom button as well. So here you are able to just take this API event, and then you can use any type of symbol and button that you have on your UI, and then just have this call out, this open the API event. So you can use your own custom button that is fully native and embedded into your UI. And you can also use any symbols, or you can even put it into a drop down if you want that kind of experience. So there are many ways for you to include the changelog without disturbing the user experience. And lastly, we have also the standalone page. So this, as the name speaks for itself, is a standalone page that you can copy and paste the link to anywhere. We have it embedded in our email footer so that users, whenever they receive an email, they can always check out what is new, and then they can open the page and scroll through the announcements.
That's especially useful if you are the type of team that is pushing tons of new features for end of year, and you don't necessarily want to notify in every single one. You don't want to necessarily have all the bug fixes get the same attention as your feature announcements, for example. That's a great way for you to balance your communication between more noticeable things and things that you don't want to be lost, but you want people to know if they want to pull the content. So we're giving you both the push and the pull. You can go looking for more detail on a change log, or you can push them directly things through the announcements. I think this is super versatile. It's a great way to tailor your content.
Yes. So we want your, this sums up my demonstration for the 3 different types of ways that you can collect or not collect. In this sense, is to share your announcements and what you have built, because it is to make sure that the value that you're delivering is felt and not just focusing on the execution of building. So don't be staying just in the build stage, but also make sure your value is felt. Because the right type of communication, it will spark outcomes, and it will increase the adoption of your users. And that is the ultimate goal that you want to reach for. So that does sum up the demonstration. I see this, there is, okay. You feel free to ask questions in the chat. I just saw a short message over here, was checking it. And let's move on to what are some cool things coming up, Shannon?
Oh my God, there's so much I want to do in this tool. There are so many amazing opportunities that I'm really excited about for 2025. But I want to tell you a little bit about what we've been up to. So, some of you may know I'm pretty new. We had amazing founders who built this incredible tool. with our awesome team. And I've been given the reins, right? So I'm like, what's the first thing I want to do? I've got a PM background. I'm going to go talk to my users. I'm going to go figure out where's their pain point, the most important and most impactful things that I can help solve for them right now. What are those? So we went obviously to our own tool and started using it to do this research and understand our users. And when you spoke, we heard you. The thing that you said was the most important thing that you can solve for us, UserSnap, is help us crack this problem space. Help us find those hard problems and de-risk our investments, because everybody knows in the product world, the worst thing that can happen to you as a product manager is a huge investment on something that no one wanted. A low engagement on a big bet is pretty much the worst case scenario. So we want to help you in 2025 to de-risk those investments. We want to help you get confidence by talking directly to your user base. We are already connected to them, and this is the greatest way that we can leverage that connection for you right now. So we're going to be going hardcore on how do we build product solutions for you that help you understand the pain points, validate your hypotheses about those pain points, and really build the right thing and validate the right thing with your customer. So that's what we're going to be doing in 2025.
Yes. And if you guys have anything that you want to talk about, anything that you're struggling with that you think we can cover, feel free to reach out to us, whether it's through, the feedback widget that we have in our app that you can always send in something, or just write to us and say, hey, you're interested in a chat. We will be more than happy. We'll be thrilled, and we will be thanking you to have a chat with us. And we also hope the best thing that we can bring to you is that we will build something that you like.
Yeah, I read those over my morning coffee, by the way. This is why I love our tool so much, because I'm sitting there every single morning. First thing I do, what's on the feedback channel? What do people tell me today? And it's really interesting to see what people say and what they are missing or what they're yearning for. And I wish this for everyone for your Christmas gift. Do a trial and see what happens. Just having that little feedback thing on the side of your website, and imagine how much engagement you're going to get that you just don't even anticipate right now. So these are the things that really make a difference. And you can use our platform to talk directly to us and ask us for what you want us to build for you in 2025. I'm listening. I'm ready to hear it. So in the meantime, you could do a trial and you can see how you can impress your boss, impress your customers, and impress your stakeholders. Tell them everything that you've done and how all the great work that your team and your peers have been working on has paid off. This is your opportunity to leverage that communication and really get some nice visibility for your work and for your team's work. In the meantime, there's so much more you can do with UserSnap, and there's so much more we haven't even scratched the surface on. So go ahead and tell us your Christmas wish or your holiday wish for what you'd like in 2025. We're ready to hear about it.
Yes. And now we also want to bring it over to you. It's now up to you, and we want to give you a small challenge that you can do immediately after this. Create a recap of the new releases or of the highlights changes that you have done this year and send that to your users. Give a nice end of the year gift to them, that they have that delight moment before they go on holidays. Communicate that to you. Send a personalized one to your power users. Send a different one to your stakeholders, and let them really have that happy moment in your application, so that don't send them an email, please. First of all, they might already be popping up their out of office thingy, so they don't read their emails at all even. But you build something in your app, you should announce it in your app as well. So this is our small challenge that we're giving it to you to create an announcement today. It's free on all plans. You can use it on all of the plans, as well as the free trial plan. You can create many announcements. You can publish the changelog for free and get your users to see it, to be happy about it. And then you can choose how you want to scale it.
I'm really excited to see how much adoption this feature is already getting. It's very new, but it's very popular. So
Yeah.
go ahead and try it out. Can't wait to hear what you think about it.